Salutations, you salty spittoons. It is Wednesday, June 22nd, 2022. How the fuck you doing? You like that alliteration there at the beginning? Try and do something a little clever at the beginning of each episode, but I don't know how long my creativity is going to last, so don't expect it every time. All right, so what's going on? Yep, like I said, Wednesday. Um, haven't made an episode since Saturday, so again, I'm going to try and shoot for 2 a week, but we'll see how it goes. So let's roll right into it. So first, I want to start off by saying I was wrong. Um, I'm going to say a lot of shit. I'm going to be wrong a lot of the times, but I'm going to try and own up to it and fucking admit when I'm wrong. So I was 100% wrong about that uh, Tampa Bay Lightning Colorado Avalanche game on Saturday, June 18th. I thought the Lightning were going to come out with hard dicks and fuck Colorado right in the ass. Did not happen. Actually, went the other way around. So the Avalanche won 7-0. Darcy Kemper stood on his head for a fucking shutout. Yeah, 7-0 win, which put up Colorado up by 2. So it was 2-0. And then this past Monday, pardon me, the Lightning won 6-2. So I was wrong, but I was close. Pretty close, because I thought that the Lightning weren't going to take a beating like that, but they actually came back in that third game and did exactly what I thought they were going to do. So I was close. I was just off by like 1, Nothing we try, but, what can you do? There we go. Yeah, so game 4 is tonight. That is in Tampa, 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Should be a good game. I am not going to watch it because I'm going to go to sleep. So I will be watching the highlights tomorrow, and checking the scores. So we'll see how it goes. Again, potential for the Avs to win at home, end the series, and bring home the cup while playing in Denver. Because let's see here, Game 5 is Friday, June 24th in Denver. So in theory, if the Avs win this next game, which is today, and then they win the game on Friday, they win the Stanley Cup final in Denver, which would be fucking wild. I think regardless, if they win, Denver's gonna go wild. So like, we'll see what happens. I'm just kind of hoping that, excuse me, I'm just kind of hoping that they don't have to bring it all the way to a game 7, because that would be really tough. I mean, I've seen, it was the Boston Bruins in 2019, I believe, um, in a game 7 against the St. Louis Blues. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think that was 2019. I don't want to look it up right now, but um, and it looked like the Bruins were going to win, but then they St. Louis came back and they kept trading games, and it went all the way to Game 7, and then St. Louis won. So I don't want to have another Game 7 heartbreak. I would rather than put it away as soon as possible. But yeah, so if they win, I don't know. I said I might go out in the town and just see what happens. Like, I'm probably not going to drink or anything like that, but just to see some debauchery. Maybe not. Maybe I'll just go because I'm pretty sure if they win, they'll probably have a parade. Maybe I'll just go to the parade if I'm not working or something like that. But I will keep you guys updated, keep you in the know, and we'll see what happens. Again, I'm pretty excited for this. Yeah, last game 6-2. Darcy Kemper looks like he took a little bit of a beating from that game. Um, it looks like they actually took out Kemper and put in the backup Pavel Francois. I don't know how to say his name, but yeah, hopefully Darcy's not hurt because I didn't watch the game. I didn't see anything. Maybe they're just like, all right, bro, like you've already let 5 goals in, like let's have you take a seat, and then they put the backup in, and he let another goal in. So I don't think it was really gonna matter. The Avs were ready to fucking go. You know, they're down 0-2. They're definitely coming out with a hard dicks. So we'll keep an eye on that. Again, game 4 tonight. We'll see what happens. Stay updated. All right, next we're walking into the UFC. So I actually did watch the majority of this. I did not watch the prelims. So it was this past Saturday, June 18th. It was UFC Fight Night, Calvin Keator against Josh Emmett. I just watched mostly the main card, but it was actually pretty good. I was surprised. Again, it was also at a normal time, so I could actually fucking watch. Jesus Christ. I'm checking the prelims real quick. Nothing really interesting. Um, one, two, three, four, five. Five KOs or TKOs in the prelims, which is pretty good. So, Cody Stamen got a win over Eddie Wineland. And Eddie Wineland, um, he retired, so good for him. He's been doing it forever, man. So, you know, hats off to him. But let's get into the main card, which I watched the majority of. Again, the Donald Cerrone Joe Lozon fight was um, was canceled. Apparently, something wrong with Joe Lozon's knee. So I don't really know what you do with Donald Cerrone at this point. This was kind of his like last hurrah before he fucking um, before he retired. So I don't know what you're gonna do with him now. Is he just gonna retire, or is he gonna do one more fight, or what are you gonna do? Like, are you gonna wait for Joe Lozon to get healthy and then they run it back? I don't even know, dude. Pardon me, just take a sip of water. Um, so I don't know. Maybe you just give him like another like legacy fight against like someone older, and I don't know. We'll see. But I just want to see Donald fight one more time. But if he doesn't, I wouldn't blame him because again, he's been doing it forever too. Like he's got so many fucking fights. But on next to the Adrian Yanez Tony Kelly fight. So I actually talked about this last podcast I was watching while this was happening, and Adrian Yanez absolutely shit stomped this fucking guy. He just beat the piss out of him. He basically knocked him out in the first round, 3 minutes and 49 seconds. Probably should have stopped the fight a little bit sooner than that because Adrian Yanez is absolutely murking the kid. So excited to see where he goes in the future. I think he's potential contender. He probably needs like 2, 3 more fights before he's really in that conversation of that top 5. But the bantamweight division is absolutely fucking stacked. All those guys are killers. That top 5, even the top 10 of the bantamweights, they're absolutely monsters. So it's an exciting division, so keep an eye out for that. Let's see what we got here. Next fight was in middleweights. It was Gregory Rodriguez and Julian Marquez. First round knockout, 318. I watched this fight. I did not expect it to go this way. I thought Gregory was going to take him to the ground and kind of do some jujitsu wizardry on this guy, but he just kind of fucking bullied him for the most of the fight. He just kind of marked him up a little bit. Not much else to say about that. Excited to see what Gregory does. That middleweight division, I don't see this guy being a contender. Uh, Probably not even in the top 10. Maybe he will if he goes on some crazy run, but another division, that middleweight division, is just absolutely fucking stacked. Those guys at the tip of the spear, the top 5, top 10 of that division are fucking murderers. Like it's real hard to break into that unless you you're super undeniable, insane, super talented, very smart, but yeah, I don't know. A lot of those guys in the top 5, top 10 in the middleweight division are also mainstays. They've been in there for a while and they've been doing it for a long time. And a lot of those guys are like tied up in fights. So it's like you can't even like get like 1, 2 fights and then say that you want to fight a top 5 guy because most of those guys are all kind of tied up in other fights or contracts. Not arguments, contract negotiations to try and get more money and stuff. So they're not going to want to just randomly fight some dude who's like just trying to come up. So um, yeah, I don't know. Not very excited for this dude Gregory, but it's nice to see a little bit of fresh blood. Then we got lightweights. Demir Ismagulov and Garam. I couldn't even say that dude's last name, dude. Holy shit. This is the one fight I did not watch. Good thing because of his decision. It might have been a fun fight. I don't know. I didn't watch it. Don't know either of these guys. and I can't pronounce either of their names, so I don't care. Then we're on to another middleweight fight, Joaquin Buckley and Albert Derive. Yeah, I watched this fight, pretty good. Round 2 KO by Joaquin Buckley, basically at the bell, like right at the 5-minute mark. Another fight where Joaquin Buckley was kind of just like in control the entire time. Derive put up a good fight, but um, Joaquin just kind of walked him down, led the fight, and just did whatever he wanted to do. So again, middleweight division really fucking tough. Do I think Joaquin Buckley is good? Absolutely. Do I think he's top 10? No. And definitely not top 5. So he's gonna have to like have maybe like 3 more spectacular wins to actually fight like a top 10, top 5 guy. Um, Again, it's just murderers row over there in that middleweight division. Those guys are fucking animals. All right, next we are on to welterweights. The co-main event was Kevin Holland and Tim Means. Kevin Holland wins by submission in the second round, about a minute and a half in. It looked good. I mean, Kevin looked good. He's not really a big submission guy, I don't think. He's more of like a on the feet kind of dude. Um, but he looked really good. He looked clean. He looked like he was ready to go. He looked focused, and he kind of just put the works on Tim Means. So the first round, he kind of just like a little slow there. He just kind of pieced him up a little bit, kind of felt him out, and then in the second round, he really started to go to work. He started putting his hands on him, getting him wobbled, and then I believe Kevin Holland got him with a right hand or something like that, and kind of brought Means down to the ground a little bit. Like he kind of just like wobbled down to the ground, and then Kevin Holland just kind of jumped on the neck, and it looks like he got him in a head and arm choke or something like that. I don't know exactly what the choke is called, but um, yeah, Kevin Holland looks good. That welterweight division definitely needs some new faces. Um, Thing is that that welterweight division is actually pretty fucking stacked too. So pretty tough. I do think Kevin Holland is good. I do think he is very entertaining, which definitely helps his marketability and his ability to make more money. But do I think he's tip of the spear? No. Do I think he has the potential to be? Maybe. You know what I mean? I don't know. We'll see. I think he just needs a little bit more. He's got a little couple holes in his game. Um, just needs. I think one thing he lacks is like definitive power. I think he has. Um, good shot selection. I think he has good power. Don't get me wrong. Like, he punched me in the face, I'd be on the fucking ground. But he's fighting trained killers, so a lot of those guys could take punches. I cannot. Um, and it looks like his ground game is getting better, which is good. This submission, obviously, but it wasn't like he was in like a jiu-jitsu war with this guy and got him a submission. He kind of pieced him up and softened him up on the feet. And when the guy was kind of dazed on the ground, you get him in and finished him off with a excuse me, finished him off with a submission, which is obviously smart. You know what I mean? Like you can get the submission, get the submission. Um, but again, it's not like he's a jujitsu wizard where he came in and got the double leg and got his back instantly and then just got him in a rear naked or something like that. So I think that's one thing at the upper echelon of welterweights where these guys are going to be really good on the ground. So if your wrestling and jujitsu is not on point, it's gonna be really hard to beat some of these guys. Like, let's take Kamaru Usman for example. Um, Obviously, he had that crazy knockout of why can't I remember his name? He's sponsored by fucking Young LA. He's one of my favorite fighters too. Fuck, I can't remember his name. Am I retarded? I don't know. I don't know why I can't remember his name. Uh, Let me look it up real quick because this is gonna bother me. Jorge Masvidal. Oh my god, I can't believe I forgot his name. Yeah, so obviously Kamaru Usman knocked out Jorge Masvidal with like that picturesque movie scene knockout. So his hands are getting better, but people forget that Kamaru Usman was originally known for his wrestling. Um, really good at bringing guys to the ground, imposing his will, and just kind of, making them submit or just winning by pressure or, just kind of just dominating. But his hands are getting better. So it's like if you try and go up against someone like Kamaru Usman, and you can't put him out on the feet, then you're like, well, what the fuck am I going to do? Then you have to try and take it to the ground. It's like, well, what are you going to do? Because he's amazing on the ground. He's arguably better on the ground than he is on his feet, and his feet are getting better. Or his 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 boxing and stuff like that, and his kickboxing is just getting better. So it's going to be real tough. You have to be super well rounded when you're fighting these tip of the spear guys. You have to be very well rounded, and then you have to also be exceptional. So if say your boxing is like a 9 and your jujitsu is like a 4, that's going to be real tough to beat a guy whose boxing is an 8 and his jujitsu is an 8. You know what I mean? So it's like you're you really want to stack all the cards in your favor. So it's like you kind of want to bring everything together, and there isn't enough hours in the day for you to get as much experience as someone like Kamaru Usman. So if you want to offset that, then your striking and shit needs to be like a 10, and then you need to try and bring up your ground game as much as possible. So, you know what I mean? So you want to try and like force him to take it to the ground and then stuff the takedown or whatever, and then when he's gassed, you kind of just piece him up on the feet. But yeah, I don't know. Again, I like Kevin Holland. I think he's cool. I think he's exciting. I like the trash talk. I think he's got a future, and I would like to see him, get into more of a personality role. And what I mean by that is, get a podcast if he doesn't already have one. Do some commentating. Kinda just be the face of something, be the face of his own brand, you know what I mean? I like when I see these guys, like, branch out and, they're not all just, businessmen in terms of or not a businessman, but a company man, you know what I mean? Whereas, like, "Oh, I'm loyal to the UFC, so I just do whatever they tell me." It's like, yeah, well, I mean, you can also branch out and do your own thing and make your own business ventures, so when you're done smashing people's faces and you have a future lined up for you, especially with a guy who's that well spoken and, um, that likable of a personality, so yeah. And then on to the main fight was Calvin Keator and Josh Emmett. So, spoiler: Josh Emmett won here by decision and went to all 5 rounds. I personally thought Calvin Keator won because he was um, kind of dictating the pace of the fight a little bit more. He was really piecing him up with the jab. And if you look at damage dealt to the face, Josh Emmett, his face looked like the Hunchback of Notre Dame after the end of the fight. And Calvin Cater only had like minor bruises, swelling, and cuts. But they, I don't know. I guess when Josh Emmett did hit, like when he did land punches, he did a little bit more damage in terms of like, or at least it looked like it, and not from the after fight, but like he has more power. So like whenever he got a punch in, that kind of the whole body of Calvin Cater just kind of like jerks back, and you kind of see it. But whereas Cater just like peppers him up with jabs and smaller punches and good combos, but Josh Emmett was just kind of walking forward more. I don't know. I gave it to Cater, but I'm not a judge, so I don't really know. I don't want to say he was robbed, but I just think that the judging's a little fucking all over the place. So I could see people saying that he got robbed, but um, I guess Josh Emmett also he was like coming forward more. He was trying to make more happen, and um, Calvin Cater was kind of just playing it smart, kind of be defensive, trying to be a stay on the outside, light him up with jabs, and just kind of look for that good combo to put him out. But there wasn't a lot of kicks. There was real no ground game for this. It was mostly just like a stand up war, and it was pretty interesting to watch. It was a pretty good fight. Don't get me wrong. There were a few moments there when I thought it was going to be over, but again, it went to a full 5 rounds, and it was a good fight. I wanted Cater to win though, so it is what it is. I'm a homer. I'm a biased individual. Um, but and then what do we got next? So the next one is going to be UFC on ESPN. Um, so this is another late card. So the prelims start at 5 p.m. Looking at it now, and I'm not seeing anybody I really care about on here. And then we'll look at the main card. So the main fight is Arman Sarukian against how do you say this? Mateus? It's like Mateus. Mateus's Gamrot. Like, this guy's got to be French, right? The last name Gamrot. Probably not how you pronounce it. It's probably not Gamrot. Probably Gamrot or something like that, or Hamra, something like that. I don't fucking know. I don't really know either of these guys. I know Arman Sarukian just by name. Probably going to be a good fight. It's going to be light division, so look out for that. The co-main is Neil Magny and Shavkat Rachmanov. Oh my god, I don't even know how to say that dude's name. But that should be a good fight. Another welterweight fight. Neil Magny is always fun to watch. He also trains out of Denver, so kind of trying to pull for him. And then every other fight, don't really care. Yeah, nobody else I really recognize. So it's kind of just something to hold you over until UFC 267, which is on July 2nd, with Israel Adesanya, Jared Cannonier. That's the big fucking. That's gonna make your dick hard. You know what I mean? That's gonna keep you up at night. That's gonna make you wake up with morning wood and wet fucking pants, because this is gonna be a banger. Yeah. So it is. Israel Adesanya, Jared Cannonier. The co-main is Alexander Volkanovski and Max Holloway, another banger fight. And then before that is going to be another middleweight fight with Sean Strickland and Alex Pereira. Pereira. I don't know how to say his name, but that should be a good fight. Misha Tate's on the card. Oh, the Pedro Munoz Sean O'Malley fight is on this card too. So that main card is pretty stacked. On the prelims, Robbie Lawler is fighting on the prelims. Okay, he is old, but interesting. I'll probably tune in for that just to see him fight because he's a fucking legend. Anything on the early prelims? Uriah Hall is fighting on the early prelims. What the fuck is going on here? He's fighting Andre Munez. Interesting. I don't know how he got on the early prelims. He should be on at least the prelims. I don't know. I mean, this is also pretty stacked, so that makes sense. Bobby Green's on the early prelims. This is gonna be interesting. Very interesting. So keep an eye out for that. I'll be talking about that. It is going to be later, so I'm probably not going to watch the entire thing, but we'll see. Anything else coming up in the future that is going to be interesting? Looking at a fight night here. Don't really care about that one. Oh, there's another fight night coming up in July 16th. It's going to be Brian Ortega and Yair Rodriguez. That should be pretty fucking exciting. So keep an eye out for that. It's got Sumu Darji on the card. That should be a good fight. Let's see here. Anyone else on this card? Interesting. Some names I recognize, but not a whole lot of people that I think are that interesting. But all right. I'm just going down the rabbit hole. I could look at this all day. All right, so next we are on to League of Legends. Oh my god, everyone's favorite fucking part is when I talk about League of Legends. Oh my goodness. All right, before I get into it, let me take another sip of water here. All right. So yeah, I've been watching. We're gonna start off with the LPL, which is the Chinese scene. I've been watching the LPL every day because it basically runs every day, and I get to catch the second games of the day because they start around like 5 a.m. ish. The second games. So since today is Wednesday, Saturday's games I think I already talked about. So Sunday we had that LNG Thunder Talk series, and that was an absolute fucking shit show. Both teams played really fucking bad. I still watched it because I like some of the players in LNG. They got Tarzan and Doenby, so I enjoy watching those players, but just look at this. Game 1, 14 kills to 12 kills. Okay, kind of back and forth. Um, Game 2 was 18 kills to 9 kills, and Game 3 was 16 kills to 14 kills. So you kind of just can get a sense of it that not one team was really that dominant. So it was all over the place. It was not the highest quality League of Legends I've ever seen in my life, but still entertaining to watch. See here, Monday, the second game I watched was the OMG and JDG. Sorry, OMG JDG series. Pretty good. JDG, it was a 2-1 victory for them, but JDG kind of really was that dominant force. OMG came out in game 1 and kind of stomped them, and then after that, JDG really took over and then kind of just shit all over them. So, game 2, JDG won 20-3. Like, oh, Jesus Christ, like a 15,000 gold lead. Like, oh my god. And then game 3 was 26 kills to 6 kills with a 15,000 or 16,000 gold lead. So, they really dropped the ball in game 1, and then game 2 and 3 they came out, played their own game, and just kind of really shit on them. Was there anything interesting about the team comps I wanted to talk about here? One thing I do see is that a lot of these teams in LPL are willing to play Lissandra into the Ari, which is interesting. You don't see that a whole lot in any other regions, at least in the East. So in like the LEC and the LCS, like you don't really see any Lissandra right now. You see a lot of Ari, but you don't see the Lissandra into it. Maybe some people just aren't as comfortable with it, but it seems like a really good fucking counter. So I don't know why they're not playing it. Maybe they just haven't picked it up yet, but I don't know. And then we got Tuesday's games. It was V5 and FPX. I think that was the game I watched because I did not get to catch the RNG Weibo games. I think I caught the third game of that, and it's pretty good. But RNG just kind of shit all over him in the game 3. So, what is it? RNG won game 1. Suning. Oh, sorry, they're not Suning anymore. They're Weibo Gaming now. Weibo won 22-5 in game 2. Did they do anything interesting? It was the Shy on Jax, but I guess it was more about Huang Fang on Aphelios and SOFM on Viego actually fucking popping off. And obviously, I know that if you don't know anything about League of Legends and the shit I say, like you're not gonna understand it. But this is my fucking podcast. I'll say whatever the fuck I want. And getting game 3, RNG kind of came in and stomped them out. This is the game I watched because I was able to actually catch this game. Um, and it was the Shy on Mordekaiser, and it did not look very good. So, yeah, these guys are always picking. I don't know about the LPL junglers, but they're all picking Viego, like almost first pick, and then they're kind of running away with the games. So, it's obviously strong, but I kind of want to see some other shit. Because if you just ban out Viego, then it's like, what are you going to pick after that? Like, I mean, just other junglers that aren't as good in this meta, I guess, but it's just not, don't have as much of an impact. So I don't know. All right, and today's games were, yeah, it was EDG and IG. I did not get to watch that because that was the early game. I think I caught game 3. EDG won 2-1, and then the series I did get to watch was Top Esports and Billy Gaming. Top Esports won 2-0. They kind of just shit on them both games. Actually, game 1 was actually close. So it was 8 kills to 7 kills. I don't know what was going on there. Not the cleanest. And then game 2 was 15-8. So, actually relatively closer. Even though it was a 2-0, it was actually a relatively close series. So I take back what I said, but neither of these teams looking really that good right now. I expect Top Esports to be much better towards the end of this year, and then expect them to make a run to try and get to Worlds. Billy Gaming, I do not believe have a chance in hell to make it to Worlds. They might make it to playoffs, but not to Worlds. So we'll see. Let's see. We're moving on to tomorrow. So tomorrow's games are Rogue Warriors and LGD. I don't give a fuck about this game at all, and it's also at 2:45 in the morning, so I won't be watching it anyway. Um, and then the 5 a.m. game is going to be Thunder Talk Gaming. All right, my bad. So the recording actually cut out. But as I was saying, the 5 a.m. game is going to be Thunder Talk Gaming and Team WE. Don't care about this game. Probably gonna watch it anyway, just because it is on when I'm at the gym. So why the fuck not? The real game we are looking for is going to be Saturday at 5 a.m. is going to be V5 and RNG. I think this is going to be a banger. Definitely some highlights coming out of this game. We'll see what happens. Also, FPX and Top Esports is going to be at 3 a.m. Summit just joined FPX, so we'll see what happens. I still think FPX loses to Top Esports. Top Esports just seems like a better team. Altogether, Summit was really good for the first half of the LCS split when he was on Cloud9, and then everything kind of went to shit, and he just seemed like he didn't care, and he was just phoning it in. But now he's on a potentially a top LPL team. I mean, FPX just won Worlds back in 2018 or 2019. I forget which one it was, but they've kind of fallen on hard times since. Most of that roster is gone, but they do have Clid, who is a phenomenal jungler. So I'm kind of excited to see this game. I won't be watching it because I'll be asleep, but I will be awake for the V5 RNG game. We'll be talking about those, so keep an eye out. Next, we're going to go on to the LCK. Going to go through this quickly just because I don't really get to watch these games because they are actually on at the same time as the LPL. So if there is not a good LPL game on, I will tune in and just kind of watch it, but I like the LPL a little bit better. So let's see, since today is Wednesday, the last games were nothing really that exciting from Saturday. On Sunday, there was the T1 Keator Rolster game. T1 won the series 2-1, so don't really care. Today, Gen G actually beat Damwon 2-1 in the series. That's interesting. I didn't know that. I'll have to go back and watch that highlights and see what happened with those games because I consider Damwon a significantly better team than Gen G right now, but you don't really fucking know. Who knows? See, Thursday, nothing interesting. Friday, nothing interesting. Saturday is actually Damwon and T1. It's going to be at 2 a.m., so I will not be able to watch that, but I will watch the highlights and see the scores. So we'll see what happens. That should be a banger. Two teams that I think are probably vying for first place in this season. So we'll see what happens. I think either way, one of those could be come out of Korea as the first seed. I think they're both very good. So we'll see what happens. I just think that the Korean scene isn't as stacked as the LPL, whereas the LPL they have like 6 teams that you could see going to Worlds and doing well, whereas the Koreans, I feel like you've only got like maybe 3 or 4 teams that could go to Worlds and do really well, but we'll see. Again, Saturday, T1 Damwon, that is the marquee matchup that I have my eyes on. Won't be able to watch it, but it is what it is. Let's see. Trying to see who the fuck was on Gen G. So Gen G has randoms that I don't fucking know. But the people I do know are Dorn and Peanut. Oh, they also have Chovy, Ruler, and Lehen. So I do know those players, but they got a bunch of substitutes that I don't know. So Dorn, Peanut, Chovy, Ruler, and Lehens. An interesting team, but some of those guys are definitely not in their prime anymore. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm interested to see what happens. All right. Next, we're going to go on to the LEC. LEC just started on the 17th, so that was this past Friday. Wow, I'm an idiot. I think I talked about it a little bit on the Saturday podcast, but I'll kind of go over it briefly. We'll see. So teams that are looking good would be Fnatic, G2, Mad Lions. They're looking pretty good. Rogue looks decent, but they are they're 1-2, so they lost 2 of their first 3 games, and they only won against Mad Lions. So G2 is 3-0. XL actually looks pretty good as well, but I don't know how long that form is going to last. I think XL is 2-1. They lost to G2. Um, Very interesting. Niski back on stage for Mad Lions, their mid laner. He's looking really good, so I'm excited to see him play again. Um, I personally don't care about Team BDS or Astralis. Don't care about Misfits. Don't really care about Excel that much. Only a little bit, just because I like their support, Mickey X, and then I don't care about SK Gaming. So the only teams I really actually pay attention to would be Rogue, G2, Fnatic, Mad Lions, and Vitality. Um, so interesting games coming up this Friday, the 24th. Games to look out for would be Vitality XL. It's gonna be 11 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. That should be a banger. And then other notable game would be 2 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. It's gonna be Mad Lions Fnatic. So Niski is going up against his old team, so I'm sure he really wants to win that pretty bad. And Fnatic look good, but they don't look phenomenal like they did last split during the regular season anyway. So I think if you're going to grab some wins off of them, it's going to be right now before they have time to ramp up. And then every other game on Friday is kind of a snoozer because the first game is SK Gaming and Astralis. Like no one fucking cares about that. Then at noon, it's Rogue versus Misfits. Misfits is not looking good. Rogue is 1-2, so they're not looking hot. But we're assuming that Rogue's going to win that game. And then the 1 p.m. game is Team BDS against G2. G2 is probably going to mollywop them because BDS sucks dick. And then we're on to June 25th, which is the Saturday. Um, Marquee games here are probably going to be Vitality against G2 Esports. Uh, Perks on Vitality now going up against his old team G2, which is a team that he basically created. He obviously didn't make the team, but he was kind of on the team since its inception and or at least its early days, and he really brought them to like every international event they've been on, and every time they went to the finals, he was there almost every single time. So it should be interesting to watch. Vitality not looking amazing, G2 looking really good. So we should see. I'm going to expect G2 to win that game. All the other games on Saturday are not that exciting. Should be one-sided affairs for the most part. Um, but yeah, after that, we can get into those games later. Then we're going to go on to the LCS, also started on the 17th, which is a Friday. Looking really shaky. LCS, the North American scene, is not looking good. A lot of these teams are looking really fucking bad. One team that is actually 3-0 that nobody expected to be 3-0 would be CLG. Granted, they played Dignitas, a struggling TSM, and Golden Guardians, so they had a very easy strength of schedule. But they're looking like one of those teams that's like they're a good team together, but they're individually not good. You know what I mean? Like, so the players are like good, but they're not like individually like far and away better than their opponents. But they just look like they have better synergy than some of the teams right now. So that's why they're getting wins. I don't expect them to be at the top for very long, but if they are, I mean, I'm not going to complain. Kind of a little bit of parity. Immortals looks terrible. Dignitas looks terrible. TSM is a little iffy. 100 Thieves doesn't look very good. Golden Guardians look bad. Flycless looks bad. EG looks good. Team Liquid looks pretty good. And then Cloud9, I can't even tell what's up with Cloud9 because they don't even have their actual like two of their players that should be playing. So um, their ADC fucking lost his passport, like his visa, to get back into the country, so he can't even play. And then, so they just had their backups play. So obviously they're not going to look very good when they don't have their main starting players. So hopefully their bot lane is going to be back for this coming weekend, because if they go 0-5 at the end of this weekend, it's going to be really hard to come back from that. So Hoping they come back because I think they are 0-3 currently. Yeah, they are. They lost every single game. So they played EG and lost. EG's a good team, so it's like, kind of whatever. They played Golden Guardians and lost. Golden Guardians sucks. And then they played Team Liquid, which is another good team, and lost. So two of those losses, you can kind of like, okay, whatever. But that loss to Golden Guardians is kind of excusable. So, but I get it. They do have backup players, so it's kind of just like, fuck. What can you even do? You can't even do much. Let's see. TSM ended up winning. Let's see, one game, so they are 1-2. 100 Thieves won 2 games, they're 2-1. I don't know, man. Just watch it because these games air basically on Fridays and Saturdays. It looks like, or no, they do Saturday, Sunday. Sorry, so they do Saturday, Sunday, and so I get to watch all these games, and it's just hard to watch a lot of the times. I kind of tune out because it's just like very like uninspiring and boring, which kind of sucks because this is like my region. Um, but god damn, watching some of these games are so bad, and it's even hard to get excited about like the quote good teams, so like Team Liquid, EG, Cloud9. Like it's hard to get excited about those teams because they don't even look that good. So it's like fuck, man. Like I want to be excited and I want it to be good, but they just don't look fucking good, man. Like I just know that like they're gonna get absolutely shit stomped at Worlds. Like whatever team you send from the North American region, like they're just gonna get fucking murdered, and it's just gonna be like, oh god, like another 0-6 performance or something like that. Not even get out of groups. Like it's just so sorry. It's just so demoralizing. You're just like, oh god, Jesus Christ, another ass whooping. But somehow North Americans are still in the conversation. I think it's just not gonna be long until the North American scene gets 3 seeds that are allowed to go to Worlds. I think they're gonna get knocked down to 2 very soon, and one of those seeds is gonna go to like some like Southeast Asian region or like the PCS region or like the Vietnamese or something like that because they keep doing like much better. So we'll fucking see. I don't know. I don't know what's going on because the level of competition in the North American scene is just abysmal. But yeah, there's a lot of money in the scene. You know what I mean? There's a lot of like some of these players are getting paid millions of dollars, whereas and they're not really doing anything on an international stage. Whereas like some of these Chinese players are not getting paid millions of dollars, and they are on some of the best teams in the world. So it's kind of interesting because you got some of these players on like bottom tier North American teams getting $1 million contracts um, and kind of phoning it in, and then you have these top tier Chinese players who are like 19 years old and they're getting paid a fraction of what these North American players are getting, and it's just fucking wild because you like so there's a lot of money in the Chinese scenes, but I don't know what their contracts are like. Obviously, I don't know. Maybe it's like not. It's more of like a strong arm style Big Brother contract where it's like you get to play for our team, so we pay you whatever the fuck we tell you, um, and they could just literally find anybody else because their player pool is so massive. So that's like, yeah, you might be a superstar, but we've got literally like 12 other superstars waiting to come up on the bench. So it's like take your fucking pay or get the fuck out kind of deal. Whereas in North America, it's really hard to find players. So that might be the deal. I don't know. I don't know. I just think it's wild because these Chinese players are playing harder, playing better, practicing more, taking it more seriously, and getting paid like nothing, next to nothing compared to some of these North American contracts. Like the minority of or sorry, the majority of these North American contracts are 6 figures, and a lot of them are fucking 7 figures. You know what I mean? Like it's fucking absurd. Um, Whatever. But it is what it is. That is the business industry. So I guess you pay what you pay. All right. So let's see what else we have here. Next, we're going to go to the D&D update. So I got to play with the boys on our 3-man campaign this past weekend. It was a good time. So update. We were going into the Circle of Thunder area. Pardon me, to fight these orcs. We didn't have a whole lot of time to play, but We still had a good time. So we basically got into this like large ring, like ceremonial, like burial ground ring thing, and we ended up fighting a couple guys who were they were like acolytes or something like that. Like that, I don't know what the fuck they were called, something with an A, but they're basically like spellcasters, and then we beat them, which actually was harder than we thought. And then out of nowhere, they ended up summoning this big like lightning boar, which literally fucking murked us. I almost died. I got knocked down to 0 HP and just barely got out of there. We just barely won, but it was a lot of fun fighting something like that. I mean, I didn't expect it to happen, so that was a cool little surprise. Um, it was definitely a good experience and just kind of just letting us know like definitely be a little bit more prepared for shit like that because I used a lot in my like the previous fight. I used a lot of my like um I guess you can call them cooldowns or whatever, but like single use kind of things where it's like I can use this but I have to like let it like refresh after a long period of time or whatever the fuck. I forget exactly what it's called, but the like consumables basically like spells and stuff like that, and then you have to like take a short rest or a long rest to have them regain themselves. So I used a lot of those in that fight with the spellcasters, which ended up being a mistake because I didn't really have a whole lot to help me out in the fight against the lightning boar, which it definitely would have helped. Like I mean, I got a couple things that definitely like one of them I can regain health, and another one helps me shake off damage. So it's like say like somebody does 20 damage, I can roll a d12 um, to mitigate some of the damage. So it's like, someone does 20 damage, I roll a d12, I get a 12. I mitigate 12 damage, I only take 8, for example. But again, I had already used that in the previous fight, so I ended up just getting fucking annihilated, like super murked. But it was fun. We didn't die, but it was a fun time. Um, Again, we don't have a whole lot of time. It didn't have a whole lot of time either to play that. So kind of going through that campaign pretty slow, but I do relish the chance to get to play whenever we do. Um, yeah, it was pretty tough that last fight, but I ended up doing like 100 damage, which is pretty good. So if every fight I do close to 100 damage, I think that's pretty good. Um, just because like me and Victor, who plays the monk, those are our main damage dealers, and I'm more on the tanky side. So if I'm still pumping out damage, then I think that's still pretty good. It definitely helps us out. But yeah, again, I think I just need to not use as much of um, my like single use kind of abilities and spells and shit like that. I just kind of need to ration a little bit more and stock up on some potions. But it was a good time. I think we are going to be playing again this weekend. I'll keep you guys updated, and I'll do the D&D update again. I would like to play the two-man campaign again, but again, that just comes down to scheduling and more free time. The two-man campaign is a whole lot of fun, and I like where we're at, so I just kind of want to get back into it before I forget what we're doing. All right, next we're going to go on to anime and manga, and then I'm probably going to wrap it up. Um, and again, I always like to have a recommendation for anime and manga. If I'm not going to do it every single one, I'll do it once a week kind of deal. So it's like if I don't do it on Wednesday, I'll do it on Saturday. If I don't do it on Saturday, I'll do it on Wednesday. But at least once a week. So um, one thing I'm going to recommend for anime is going to be Trigun. So I've been watching it recently, and I've been trying to catch up. And I'm currently on episode 20 out of 26, so it's almost over. But so I'm not gonna recommend this just because I think it's fucking amazing, because I don't think so. I actually don't think it's really that good. But I want people to watch it because a lot of people hold it in very high regard. But I also think that's because they're looking at it through the rose-colored glasses of nostalgia. Because like back in the day, like there wasn't a whole lot of anime to actually consume, and now there's like so much anime, it's fucking all over the place. Um, so like at the time people were like, it was fucking amazing, it's so good, and like it's like iconic, all this shit. But it's I like the aesthetic, I like the character design, I like some of the ideas. um I like the design in general. It's so a brief rundown. It's about this guy named Vash the Stampede who's got this red coat, uh, big long ass fucking gold or silver pistol. It's like a massive fucking deagle. Looks kind of like a deagle and a revolver combined. And he's got like spiky yellow hair, and he's got these or like blonde hair, and he's got these like yellow round sunglasses, kind of look like John Lennon glasses. But if you know anything about anime, you've probably seen this guy before. If you just type in Trigun on Google, you will see him on there. Pretty iconic. If you've ever never seen him before, you might have recognized him. Shows up a lot. But yeah, a lot of people like hold this series in high regard and like say it's really good, but it's fucking a jumbled mess. It's literally all over the place, really hard to follow, doesn't explain a lot. I mean, it's like kind of a fun ride, but the first like 12 episodes or so are kind of just like episodic, like kind of a fun ride. Like, oh, you know, I mean, it's just Vash the Stampede in this wasteland, and he's just doing all this shit, whatever. And then you come to slowly find out he's got like this crazy past and all this shit, whatever. Um, Again, I recommend this because I want people to watch this and see how far the industry has come, and also enjoy a little bit of the past, just because I do think it's an enjoyable watch. Um, but I don't think it is I don't wanna call it good. You know what I mean? I just don't wanna call it, like, what it's not. I think it's fun, and I think it has a lot of potential. And then also the main reason I am actually recommending this is because they are coming out with I don't wanna say a redo, but, like, a new series of it in 2023. Um, excuse me. So I think I haven't gotten much information on it, but it's called Trigun Stampede. I am hoping they do what they did with the redo of Hunter x Hunter. If you don't know, Hunter x Hunter, the anime came out in the early 90s, and they redid it in 2011, and it is significantly better. It like double, like two times better at least than the original. So I'm hoping they do something like that, and then you know what I mean. They make it a little bit like they make this new Trigun series a little bit more cohesive, put a fresh coat of paint on it, you know, make it more understandable, and just kind of, you know, go balls to the wall and go all out. But I'm gonna hold my breath for it, and we're gonna wait and see. Um, I'm hoping it's good, just because again, I like the universe, I like the character design, I like the ideas, but the original one was kind of just fucking all over the place and just not really like the best viewing experience. But again, I do recommend it. I would give it out of 10, I'd give it 6, a soft 6. And that is also I have not finished it. I got 6 more episodes to go, and I don't really see it getting any higher than a 6 within that many episodes left. If anything, it could be getting worse. So I'll come back to that on the next episode of the podcast and let you guys know once I finish it. If I do, because I have a bad habit of not finishing things, but I'm really gonna try and force myself to do it because I got a lot of time this weekend. Um, but yeah, so that is going to be my recommendation. Watch Trigun before the new series comes out, and then if you watch the old series, you can then compare it to the new series, and you could tell me to go fuck myself if you think I'm wrong. But at least you watched it, so yeah. And then next we're going to go on to manga. So I haven't been reading a whole lot of manga, but I got into a new series that I do like that I will recommend, and it is the English title is called My Companion is the strongest undead in another world. So what from what I'm reading here, it looks like it's only got 11 chapters fully translated on at least on the sites that I'm using. Um, I highly recommend buying your manga if you can find it, but I don't have money like that, and it's so much easier for me to just read it off of pirated sites, which I will admit kind of fucking sucks for the creators and the people who make money off of this and all the people who put all their hard work. But you know what I mean, not a fucking millionaire, bro. Can't buy every fucking volume, dog. Um, but so this series is basically an isekai, and the guy is a little bitch, absolute beta male, which is fucking annoying. But hmm. So he gets isekai, so he gets teleported to another world, and then he ends up getting a blessing from the god or whatever the fuck, and he's basically immortal to, in a sense. So like he'll like say like his arm gets cut off, his arm will grow back. He gets poisoned, and like the poison runs through his body quickly. I mean, he still feels pain and everything. So um, he gets summoned by this kingdom. They do all these experiments on him, and they try and like kind of fucking keep him there for the rest of eternity, and just kind of like, you know, do tests on his body and shit like that. And then he ends up running into this vampire. They break out, and then they go on adventures and shit. The art style is pretty good. The storyline isn't a 10 out of 10, but it's relatively unique. I mean, how many people can come up with a unique story these days? It's fucking hard. Um, and I mean, I don't know. It's fun. It's interesting. It's got 11 chapters. I want to see where it goes. Out of the 11 chapters that the 10 chapters that I've read, I haven't read the 11th one yet. Out of 10, I will give it 6.5, 7, soft 7. Pretty interesting. Again, I just kind of like the art style, and I kind of like the ideas, and just interested to see where it goes. Um, but yeah, again, it's called My Companion is the Strongest Undead in Another World. Do not ask me to read the Japanese title because I will not be able to pronounce it and absolutely butcher it. But yeah, get into it. I think that is going to be it for the podcast. Coming up here on close to 50 minutes or so, actually close to an hour. But yeah, thanks everyone. Like, follow, subscribe, leave a comment, leave a review wherever you get podcasts. Um, Go and subscribe on the Backed by Bone podcast YouTube. Subscribe to my other YouTube, Don Burgundy. Trying to put out more content there as well. And get out there, go have some fun, go watch my recommendations, go read my recommendations, and get your fucking dick wet. I'll catch you guys next time.